I think it'd be really cool as a new fan to start liking Arsenal, discover the history and have something to be proud of, then see how we're still doing it today.
We push a lot of boundaries and we want to be like trendsetters, not someone following trends. As a player that wants to push the game to the next level, the club that we're a part of, we're aligned with that.
They paved the way with how the women's game should be seen and should be valued. It's such a proud club, like you're proud to be Arsenal.
Hi, I'm Alessia Russo. I'm a striker and I play for Arsenal.
I'm Leah Williamson, I'm a central defender and I play for Arsenal.
I'm Beth Mead and I'm a wide striker and I play for Arsenal.
A wide striker?
Yeah,
outrageous,
I was going to say forward.
There was a little park round from where I used to live, and I used to get home from school and just be out until Mum would call us back in for dinner. My earliest memories are just playing for fun. And I think even now I play my best football when I'm confident and like mentally just happy. Whenever I think of my childhood memories of football, that's where it goes, which is quite nice.
That's really wholesome. Yeah. Nearly crying, Leah.
I won't say mine then.
Oh, God.
No, mine was with my mum. I live in the middle of nowhere in the sticks, and she took me to my first session when I was 6 years old, and I was a pain in the ass. I still am now, I know that, but I had a lot of energy, as I do now.
No, you.
Plenty for you all. But she took me up and the guy was like, yeah, it's all boys, like she's absolutely fine to join in, but they might be a little bit rough. And Mum was like, oh, it's fine, I'll come back in an hour and see what happens. Came back in an hour and was like, she was worse than most of the boys. Mum was like, yeah, I was never worried. The rest is history.
Mine was the same. Mum was like, are you sure you want to play football? She played when she was a kid and obviously didn't have a great experience to pretend to be a boy and all that business. And then I said, please, Mum. Took me down, and then that was literally after my first session. I can see it now. I know exactly where we were. I got put on a different team. Like I remember who was on each team, core memory, and then here we still are.
If I ever thought of women's football, watching England or watching Arsenal, Kelly was the first name that you went.
She was the best.
Yeah, she was unbelievable.
She set the standards in women's football at that point, and she was the one who pushed it to a level individually. There was obviously a lot of other good players, but she was the one that stands out, and we're obviously lucky enough that we have her as part of the coaching staff now, which thinking about is quite weird, I think. Like, it's quite normal being around her now, but at the time...
I don't think it's normal. When I go for breakfast, I'm like, what are you doing here?
I remember my first session with Kelly, I was nervous.
Were you?
Really?
Yeah. I was just like,
That's
I just wanted
cute.
to hear everything she had to say. Like, I loved her growing up.
Yeah, I went from not being able to talk to her when I was a kid. I went up to her, my dad had to ask if it was all right to get a picture, to now calling her Keza.
Yeah.
I was a mascot for the Euro Cup final when Arsenal won it. I didn't want to be. Mum forced me to go because the whole team was going as a mascot. You know me, that's not me.
Yeah.
But then I walked out as a mascot with Kelly and I did apply for that one. I think you had to write a letter to the paper. They were playing in Milton Keynes. I walked out with Kel. So I had a picture of it on my wall. She signed it.
That was meant to be for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I turned out to be a centre-back is sort of the only bit that's gone wrong, really.
Yeah. So I think that's your fault.
Yeah, that's a reflection of me. Kelly was so involved with everything, though. My first Arsenal goal, she said to me in the changing room, you're going to score today. And I was like,
How old were you?
17.
Oh, wow.
Said, I've just got a feeling, yeah.
Is that your first goal?
Yeah.
Do you remember it against Chelsea?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Little
back pass.
mazy through and a little dink over the keeper. I thought, who was this?
I just gave the ball away down the other end. They
it was a
scored.
very good goal.
Yeah, and then you know what she's like at the end? She just whacked me and was like, told you.
Yeah.
You were very brave to go to the US, I think, at your
that
age,
time.
because so many people had always done it going from England. It was my dream.
Yeah.
Like that was my plan. I was going to come
That's
to
like bend it
play
like
college
Beckham. We
football.
knew that. Go to college football, like that was
Go play college
what it was
football,
about.
100%. But then it got to a point where it was like the women's game in England was really going. They were trying to keep people here. And I remember you and Lotta going, and me thinking, well, that's the last I'll see that.
Never again.
Never again.
It was a bit of a gamble. I remember, like, same like you, I'd always wanted to do it. Like, it's something that I used to watch, like, videos of UNC women's soccer, like, on YouTube when Tobin was there and things like that.
That's cute.
Yeah, I was a proper fangirl. And then Lotta and I went out there for a visit when we were about 17. We'd just got back from the Under-17 World Cup and we were a bit, like, unsure. But honestly, the moment we got there, we were, like, both committed like within the next few days, because you could just feel like it was the place that we wanted to be. And at the time, Lotta's option was probably better than mine, but my other option was to still do uni and train and play at different places. It just wouldn't have worked out like logistically. So I just thought, why not? But it was like a real split, like my England age group, half went and half didn't. And it was like the time when the league was getting massive.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was the best thing that I did at that time. Although a lot of people told me it would be the worst.
Yeah.
I went uni, but I wasn't at uni.
Right.
So I did my first 2 years and I was semi-pro, 2 sessions a week at the time with Sunderland. And then I was able to obviously go to uni quite a bit, but not live the uni life. And then my last year I went fully pro, and luckily the university were like really good in a sense of they sent me all my work. They allowed me more extensions when I had games and stuff. But if I'd have had that the full 3 years, it would have been impossible for me to do.
I even found sixth form. Like our sixth form is obviously, everyone stays in high school here, right? But we obviously go to like college or we do an extra.
Yeah.
That for me was just so difficult with football. I do think as well, US to England, uni life is very different.
Yeah.
Uni life in the US is about being like the best you can be, and the appeal for me to go to the US was always the way that the sport was respected.
Yeah.
It was miles ahead at that point.
Yeah, just the way that they put effort into like really making it great, whereas like you used to have to force people to play for varsity at uni in England.
And the facilities were crazy. The staff that we had was like nothing I'd ever seen before.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out for
I
you.
know, yeah.
Genuinely,
I'm glad I made it back.
Genuinely, I'm really happy for you.
And now you're here with us, so it's perfect.
And we've got well, I'm the only one without a degree here.
I'm still yet to finish mine,
Okay,
but
yeah,
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Just me then.
Dr. Beth.
Dr. Beth.
I feel like 2015 was a big game changer. I don't know if I just got older and I was more aware, but the tournaments picked up a bit more, and then 2015, England won the bronze, and it just, I don't know, the games felt a bit different. We then went to the Summer League.
Yeah, changed it.
Yeah, just little bits and bobs that were done different from then. But then 2022 just...
Yeah, it blew up on a different level after the Euros, but...
I feel like you'd see it more because you were playing in the league.
Yeah.
So you could see the changes, whereas I think I was in academy football at that because I'd have been 15.
Right, so you didn't actually know any different.
Yeah, I was at every game that I could, but I was actually in the stadiums.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't like it is now where you can literally go on any channel and find a game, or on TikTok and find like videos of you lot.
Me and Mum used to do the gate at Arsenal, so
Did you?
yeah, she used to volunteer. So every first team women's game, there was no one there. Like I could stand at the gate and watch the whole game. You know, like nowadays, you would never, you
Turnstiles and
couldn't.
people queuing outside.
Yeah,
So
like
crazy.
Mum had to hand in her notice when I started making the first team. She was like, "Sorry, but I'd like to watch the game, so I'm gonna have to hand in my notice." So yeah, it changed drastically because there used to be 500 people come through, max.
Best time ever.
Insane. The best thing that I've probably ever been a part of. Obviously, we were very much wrapped in bubble wrap at the time, but to then come out after winning it and see the impact and how much people were talking about women's football and taking it seriously was pretty insane at the time.
I knew that we were doing something special. It felt different to how it ever had done, but the way it just blew up afterwards, like,
I don't think any of us would have expected that.
not the sustainability of it,
Yeah.
not every week.
Yeah, because we've seen it in the past where like a team's done well, but it's fizzled away after a few months.
Yeah.
Now it's like week in, week out.
It was just
different
the
level.
right time. Everything was
Meant to be.
meant to be. Like, England was ready for it. Okay, when I say ready for it, we're not. Like, there's certain things now that aren't in place, and some teams can't keep up with the rise and like stuff like that. But in terms of that tournament, the stadiums, I remember thinking that the first couple of games, and people were complaining that some games are at smaller stadiums.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
we're really turning this one around.
The whole tournament, it was just great. It was just the best time.
Even stuff that we did, you know, if you look back, like, okay, the night that we all dressed up.
Dressed each other
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Everyone's watching Love Island. I started drinking tea because I felt like I was missing out because you all kept gathering to drink coffee and
Is
hot
that the
chocolate.
first time you drank tea?
Yeah, I've never drank tea.
I did not
She was
know
only doing it
that.
to socialise.
And you love tea now, right?
Yeah, now that's why I never drank it in the first place. I knew I'd get addicted, and
was
I
a
had
hot
to have 2
chocolate
sugars
girl.
in my tea. But I hated it. I used to force it down my throat just so I could spend more time with you as well.
When I look at us as a team over the last few years, I wouldn't want to be in any other team. And there's a lot of things that we've gone through individually, both football-wise, both personally. Like, I've never, ever been in a team that has stuck by every single person, regardless, me as an individual. And obviously, I can say from, obviously,
You've taken a lot of it.
yeah, my recent few years, I wholeheartedly would not have got through that time without this team. And that's why when I look forward to like the season coming, like there's not any other team that I would prefer to put my body on the line for than the team that I'm in now.
I've echoed that. There's not many times I've felt like I have in the room of people that we have. Not last season, but the year before, getting to the Champions League semi-final, like we just didn't have the legs. And I'm talking literal legs, like
there was one leg on each person.
But if you had asked me if we had been fully fit, I think we could have gone all the way that year. You've got like a group of people that are so together. And I think now we've kept the core of the team. We've added, like you came in last year, we've got a couple more signings, but like the spine stays the same.
Yeah, you've got the structure now, and now we've added a bit more firepower in
and
different areas.
Like, we haven't achieved what we should have achieved.
No.
We've underachieved both years.
The last 2 years for us is very below par.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited for this year. I feel like everyone knows that the standards have got to be up there.
Yeah.
But also I agree, one of the reasons I came to Arsenal, you have so many players that have been here for a long time, and I think a new player coming in, that's so nice to have that. One, because you've got players that are the spine of the team, like you've got players that know the standards of the club and how they need to perform and stuff like that, but you've also got players that want to be at Arsenal, and that's like the biggest attraction to any player, is that you've got players that genuinely love playing for their club.
Some of my core memories, both good and bad, have definitely been at the Emirates. My knee I did there, which I know doesn't sound great, but like when I came back to feel the love from every single person on the pitch, every single fan in the stadium, and it was sold out for numerous games. I don't think you would get that anywhere else.
I love it because the first time that we played there, it feels like home. You know, like sometimes you go to a stadium where you play like a bigger game in a bigger stadium, it just feels like you're walking into, it's like a neutral ground almost, like it doesn't feel like yours. From the minute we started playing there,
it felt like home.
On the smallest occasion, with the smallest crowd, I was like, yeah, this is ours. I want to see multiple leagues. Like that's where you get sustainability, when you've got like leagues feeding into other leagues, you get loan systems, you get competition and upsets of a team in a lower league beating a top team, and that's how we hold on to women's football, I think, in England. Obviously I know like you come to America, I know they've got now a second league, but like the systems work here on a one league basis, like no promotion or relegation. But I think for us, if you're talking about what's next, it's like funding the investment from the bottom, because we have to keep going up to compete with the teams across Europe. But then the gap becomes bigger and bigger.
And like making sure that that starts, like you said, lower down with even like young girls, no one questioning or struggling to find a route into football, which when we were growing up, I think everyone played at a boys team before they played at a girls team, because it was easier. Like it was so easy to find a boys team, and then you meet people, and then there's a girls team.
Yeah, there's a path somewhere, but it's finding it. Yeah.
I think I'm definitely conscious of our impact. There's one thing saying like you have a role and responsibility to grow the game, but there will be that one kid that one day potentially you are, same circle of life, you know? I am conscious of it, but I watch Kelly even now and I just think she has this like humbleness about her, for example. Like she was my hero and she just did what she did best, and then that's why people would want to be like her, you know? Kelly never made me feel, even though she was basically superhuman compared to me, she never made me feel like I was anything less than her. Like she made me feel like we were the same player, you know? Whenever I speak, like I think that's the biggest thing I try to remember. Like, I'm not talking criticism or, you know, like everyone criticises on the pitch, or this needs to be better, or, but in terms of like actually how she made me feel as a person.
I do feel like it's a surreal feeling still, like I'm just Beth. Like, I'm just Leah, I'm just Celeste. And you see the faces, like how much of an impact you can have just up by one day or one moment, but it still feels as a player really surreal, because I'm just like Beth who kicks a ball around. I'm not Beth who could be a hero to some of them kids, you know?
Yeah.
I know people always say, oh, how do you feel being a role model? But like, I think all of us would say you never even think of yourself as a role model. We understand there's a responsibility to help, and we have a lot of love for the game and we want to make sure it's always there, but I'd never look at myself and think that we're role models, we're just kicking a ball around.
I had a conversation when we walked back in the tunnel with the German manager. Well, I say conversation, I looked at her and I just said, it was unbelievable. And she just hugged me and said, what have we done? Look what we've done. And I thought that, it was just one of those moments in history. I'm so happy. If we would have been born 15 years later, we might be living a crazy, lovely lifestyle and all our families taken care of, and et cetera, because hopefully women's sport carries on rising that way. But I would not trade being part of this generation for the world.
No.